Good day, students. Okay, what we're going to do in this video, there's only two questions to solve, but I'd like you to have a go at these questions first. So turn off the video, have a go at the questions once you've completed them or you're a bit stuck. Then turn the video back on and we'll go through the solutions. Okay, so turn the video off now and have a try. Okay, welcome back, students. Okay, what we're going to do is start with the one on the left, obviously. Now, as I've said in previous videos, I like to get rid of my fractions as soon as I can. So I could expand out the numerator to begin with, but my preference is to undo this divide 5. The opposite of dividing 5 is multiplying by 5. So 5 times, oops, I'll use the dot for multiply, and if I multiply by 5 on the left, I have to multiply by 5 on the right. And the 5's divide out, and I'm left with just 3 outside of 4x plus 1 equals negative 4 times 5 equals negative 20. Okay, so the first thing I did is I removed got rid of the fraction on the left. Okay, now I need to get rid of the brackets. So we'll do that by expanding out the brackets. 3 times 4x is 12x plus 3 times 1 is 3 equals negative 20. Now I have to undo the adding. I always undo adding before I undo multiplying, so I subtract 3 from both sides. Plus 3 minus 3 goes to 0, leaving just 12x equals negative 23. 12 doesn't go evenly into 23, so the answer is going to be a fraction, but that's fine. So divide both sides by 12, and x equals negative 23 on 12. So as we've done before, just getting rid of all of that. As we've done before, we're not going to check that by substituting back into the equation. Chances are we'd make a mistake when we're checking it. So the way to check this one is to just work through the steps again very carefully and see if, make sure you haven't made any mistakes. Okay, looking at the equation on the right, well, again, I want to get rid of my two fractions in this case. The operation I have here is divide by 15, and the opposite of dividing by 15 is multiplying by 15. And if I'm going to do that on the left, I have to do it on the right. And the other thing I have to do is to multiply by 3. In fact, I'm going to make a change to that. That 15 is sort of in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and put it behind it. So I'm going to go times 15 behind, just to get it out of the way. So I've multiplied that side by 15, that side by 15. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. So I'm going to multiply this side by 3, and I'm going to multiply this side by 3. And I want that 3 in the front, which is why I put the times 15 at the end. Now the reason for doing that, of course, is the 15s cancel out on that side. 3 times 6 is just 18. Outside of 1 take 4x. And on the other side, the 3's cancel out or divide out, and 2 times 15 is 30. So that's my new equation, and what I've managed to do in the first step is to get rid of both of the fractions. Okay, change that to plus a negative, and let's get rid of the brackets using the distributive law. 18 times 1 is 18. Now 18 times 4, well, I can double 18, and that gives me 36. And I double 36, and I get 72. So 18 times negative 4 is negative 72x equals 30. So this equation has some fairly big numbers. Here, once again, it doesn't matter what order I write them in, so that's really negative 72x plus 18. So what I'm going to do is subtract 18 from both sides, like so. That goes to 0. That leaves just negative 72x on the left. And 30 subtract 18 is positive 12. And finally, I need to get rid of the multiply by negative 72 by dividing by negative 72. And they cross out, and I end up with x is, again, I don't like to leave my negative sign in my denominator, so I'm going to put it in the numerator. Okay, positive times a negative is a negative. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. So that number and that number are different ways of writing the same thing. And finally, I can actually simplify this. I can divide by 12, divide by 12. So they both have a common factor of 12. And 12 divide 12 is 1. And 72 divide 12 is 6. So if I've done everything correctly, x is negative 1 on 6. And again, the only way to check that, putting that into the equation and solving would be quite challenging. Best thing to do is just carefully work through all the steps and see, in fact, if that's correct. Okay, what we're going to do now, that's pretty much the end of the videos on the technique of solving equations. So now we're going to start to look at some word problems. So start to actually apply what we've just learned into some real life situations.